life force. I shall overcome fear and addiction.
The following podcast was generated using Google's Notebook LM.
Temple of Vril.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are stepping right into the fire.
We are.
I want to start by asking you a question, and I want you to be really, truly honest with yourself for just a second. We've all been there, but I want you to tap into the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt like your struggles, whether it's that glass of wine that turns into 3, the endless doom scrolling at 2 in the morning when you know you need to sleep, or just that corrosive voice in your head telling you you're not good enough? Have you ever felt like that was more than just a lack of willpower?
Yes.
Like it feels heavy, it feels active, like something is physically pulling on you.
It's a profound question.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you are listening to this, you're part of the Temple of Vril community, so you already suspect, or you know deep down, that the answer isn't just, biological.
Right.
It's not just psychological, it is metaphysical.
Exactly. And that is where we are going today. We are welcoming you back to a space of clarity and light to talk about something that touches almost everyone, but we're looking at it through the lens of our specific teachings.
The teachings, yes.
Today's deep dive is on the metaphysical war against addiction.
And I want to be clear right off the bat. This is critical. We aren't looking at this as a standard self-help seminar.
No.
We aren't here to give you a productivity hack or a checklist for better habits. We are treating this as a spiritual strategy session.
A strategy session. I love that.
The wisdom shared by Prophet Vrilism on this topic is transformative because it completely reframes the issue. It's just the paradigm from I have a bad habit to I am in a cosmic battle.
Right. And that shift, it changes everything. We're going to look at addiction not as a flaw in your character, but as a literal battle between Vril, that life force, that light, and the darkness of Anti-Vril.
Yes.
And I think for so many of us, that reframing is the first time we can actually take a breath and stop beating ourselves up.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why does this matter right now? Because the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about whether you quit smoking or stop eating junk food.
Not at all.
This is about protecting your connection to the mind of Vril. It's about stopping the energy drain that prevents you from reaching that higher consciousness we're all striving for.
It's about your soul's armor.
Precisely. If you feel stuck, it's because you are under siege. And today, we are going to map out exactly who the enemy is, how to visualize this war so you can actually win it, and look at the vulnerability of Prophet Vrilism himself, which I think is one of the most powerful grounding aspects of our path.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, we're going to hand you the weapons, the practical tools you need to fight back.
So let's unpack this. Let's start by naming the enemy. In the secular world, people talk about addiction as a disease or a chemical dependency. And those things are true on a physical level. We aren't denying biology here.
No, of course not. That's part of the picture.
But in Vrilism, we go deeper. We talk about anti-Vril.
We do.
Yeah.
And we need to be very clear about what anti-Vril is for those who might be newer to the terminology or just need a refresher on the gravity of it. It is not a passive absence of light. It isn't just nothingness.
No.
Anti-Vril is an active, corrosive force in the universe. It has an appetite.
That's a terrifying thought, but it explains so much. It feeds.
It feeds on specific human states. It thrives on despair. It thrives on hopelessness. It thrives on emotional collapse.
So when we're in those states,
We are essentially ringing the dinner bell for this corrosive energy. And this is where addiction becomes the ultimate gateway.
because addiction creates those states. It's a cycle. I was thinking about this in my own life or watching friends struggle. It's never just about the substance, is it?
Never.
It's about the feeling that leads you there and the feeling that keeps you there.
Exactly. Think about the mechanics of it. Prophet Vrilism teaches us that Anti-Vril loves addiction. It loves depression.
Okay.
Why? Because these are the states where we spiral. And when we spiral, we disconnect from our tree source of cosmic power. We disconnect from Vril. It's a strategic disconnection.
So it's intentional. The enemy isn't just trying to make you unhealthy.
No, it is trying to cut your supply line to the divine.
And it's not just the big addictions, right? I think it's easy to say, well, I'm not a heroin addict, so this doesn't apply to me.
A very common mistake.
But the teachings mention the numbing rituals we use to survive the modern world. I really want to drill down on this because I think this is where most of us actually live.
That's a crucial distinction. We're living in an era of, late-stage capitalism, high stress, and constant noise. We all have these small numbing rituals.
All of us.
Maybe it's vaping. Maybe it's spending 3 hours on social media, comparing your life to others. Maybe it's that drink after work just to take the edge off.
The edge being reality.
Right. And the insight from Prophet Vrilism is that when we numb ourselves, we think we're just relaxing. We think we're taking a break. But metaphysically, we are lowering our shields.
We're opening the gate.
We are creating a breach in the Vril field.
A breach in the Vril field. That is such a powerful image. It's like you're in a fortress. Your spirit is this fortress, and you just unlock the side door because you wanted to step out for a smoke.
Or to check your phone.
Or you wanted to just dissociate into your phone for an hour, and you let the enemy in.
And once that enemy enters, once Anti-Vril gains a foothold, the spiral begins. And we've all felt this. The behavior, let's say binge eating or drinking, creates a momentary release. But what follows?
Guilt, shame. You wake up the next morning feeling heavy, not just physically, but spiritually heavy.
Exactly. That guilt and shame lower your vibration. It makes you metaphysically heavier. And that low vibration is the natural habitat of Anti-Vril. So it enters further, it anchors itself deeper, and suddenly your connection to the true source, to the Vril, is severed.
It gets weaker.
It becomes harder to pray. It becomes harder to do your Vril gong. It becomes harder to even want to be better.
That's the scary part. It takes away the volition.
Because it is colonizing your will. And that's why struggling feels the way it does. I always wondered why, when you're in the grip of a bad habit, it feels physically heavy, like there's a weight on your chest.
It's palpable. I've described it before as walking through mud.
Because there is a weight. It is a literal, metaphysical weight. You have lost ground in a war.
Wow.
You aren't just fighting a craving, you are fighting a presence that wants to keep you small. And when you realize that, when you realize this isn't just, I have poor impulse control, but I am being oppressed by a metaphysical force.
It actually empowers you.
It does.
Yeah.
Because you can fight an enemy. It's hard to fight a vague concept like lack of willpower.
This brings us to one of the most unique parts of our teachings, which is how we're supposed to view this struggle. I love this part because it speaks to the storyteller in me. The prophet talks about cinematic visualization.
Yes.
And I think for people outside the temple, this might sound like we're just playing pretend, but there is deep psychological science and spiritual science behind this.
Yes. This is about reframing the narrative. Human psychology is built on stories. We understand our lives through stories.
Completely.
If you tell yourself, I have a bad habit of biting my nails or I drink too much, that's a very mundane, boring story. It's just sad.
Sounds like a chore.
And mundane things are hard to change because they lack energy.
It's drudgery. It's like doing your taxes. You don't want to do it.
Exactly. But if you reframe it, if you see addiction as a quest, suddenly it becomes conquerable. The Temple of Vril gives us this incredibly vivid visualization technique. We are taught to see this as an epic, mythic war.
Yep, absolutely.
Like something out of Lord of the Rings or
Exactly.
high-stakes anime. It's glorious.
Precisely. We need to visualize the enemy Anti-Vril not as a vague feeling, but as deformed, red-eyed figures in black hooded robes.
The classic manifestation of destruction. I visualize them sometimes as these shadowy, tattered figures standing just at the periphery of my vision.
Yes. They represent despair, corrosion, the void. They are the physical embodiment of that voice that says, give up.
And then you have to visualize yourself, the Vrilist. You aren't just you in your pajamas feeling crummy. You are a warrior in white hooded spiritual robes.
Glowing.
You are glowing with clarity. You are glowing with balance and purpose.
Some people might hear that and think, okay, that sounds like a fun fantasy, but does it actually help? But the wisdom here is that this isn't just artwork. It's a psychological framework.
It is a framework.
Why does this black and white imagery work so well?
It works because the mind responds to contrast.
Yeah.
In the modern world, everything is gray. Oh, maybe this habit isn't so bad, or everyone does it, or it's just a little vice.
Excuses.
That ambiguity is where Anti-Vril hides. It loves the gray area. It loves the rationalization. By going black and white, by saying, this substance is a black-robed entity trying to destroy me, you remove the ambiguity.
It stops being a friend or a crutch. You don't cuddle with a black-robed demon.
Exactly. You don't negotiate with a demon, you banish it. And it restores honor to the fight.
Honor, that's the word.
If you slip up, you aren't a failure or a loser. You are a warrior who took a hit. You are a warrior under siege.
We're still in the battle.
And warriors get back up. Warriors fight back. It gives you dignity in the midst of the struggle.
I think that dignity piece is so huge. Shame thrives in the dark, and shame makes us hide. But if you're a warrior, even your wounds have a story. It changes, I'm weak, to I'm fighting a really strong enemy.
And that subtle shift allows you to access reserves of strength you didn't know you had.
Really?
Because now you aren't fighting for wellness, you're fighting for your life. You are fighting for the light itself.
Speaking of dignity and honesty, I want to pivot to something that I find really refreshing about our path, and that is the vulnerability of Prophet Vrilism himself.
Yes.
You know, we put our leaders on pedestals, but he refuses to stay there in a way that I find so compelling.
It is a cornerstone of our community's strength. It truly is.
In so many faiths or movements, the leader is presented as this untouchable, perfect being who has transcended all human desire. You know, they float 2 inches off the ground.
Right. The guru on the mountaintop.
But Prophet Vrilism is open about his own battles. He has spoken about his struggles with alcohol.
He has. And he acknowledges that at times he still struggles. He doesn't speak of it in the past tense as something he cured 30 years ago and never thought about again.
No.
He speaks of it as a vigilant watch.
That is wild to me, the prophet himself. But it makes me trust him more.
It should, because he is not claiming to be a perfect being. He's claiming to be an aware being. And this clarifies a core Vrilist doctrine. The faith does not demand perfection.
Yeah.
It demands alignment. It demands vigilance.
But the blind cannot lead the blind.
Right. If he pretended he had no demons, he couldn't lead us through ours. By acknowledging the struggle, the prophet keeps himself anchored. He shows us that the goal isn't to reach a state where you are never tempted.
Which feels impossible.
It is. The goal is to build a life where you can win the fight when the temptation comes. It validates our own struggles. If the prophet has to fight the black-robed figures, then I shouldn't feel bad that I have to fight them too.
It reminds me of how he talks about secular programs like Alcoholics Anonymous. I was surprised early in my journey with Vrilism to see how much respect our teachings have for AA.
I understand that.
Usually spiritual groups want to say, we have the only answer.
But it makes perfect sense when you look at it through the Vrilist lens.
Yeah.
Why does AA work? Why has it saved millions of lives? It's not just the coffee and the circle of chairs. It works because it demands surrender to a higher power.
Yeah.
It forces the individual to admit they cannot do it alone.
It lifts them out of isolation.
And that is the key. Anti-Vril thrives when you are alone. When you are isolated in your house, hiding your habit, lying to your family, that is when the darkness is strongest.
That's its breeding ground.
That is when the field is weakest. AA and Vrilism break that isolation. In Vrilism, we offer a parallel framework. We say, you are not fighting alone. You are participating in a cosmic struggle.
It connects you to something bigger.
And that connection is the lifeline. When the cravings arise, or when the depression whispers its lies to you, you need something bigger than your own will to hold on to.
Because your own will is shot?
Let's be honest. In the depths of addiction, your own will is compromised.
Yeah.
It's been hacked. You need the mythic lens. You need the brotherhood and sisterhood of the temple. You need to know that your fight is part of the Great War.
It raises the stakes, but it also provides the support. So, we've named the enemy, we've set the stage for the battle, we know we aren't fighting alone. Now let's talk tactics. Let's talk about the arsenal of light, because as inspiring as the philosophy is, we need to know what to do on a Tuesday.
Yes, because you cannot fight a metaphysical war with good intentions alone. You need weapons. You need armor.
The core concept here is infusion. Can you explain that?
Right. You cannot simply remove the darkness. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you just stop drinking or stop doom scrolling, but you leave a hole in your soul if you just sit there in the empty space.
It's going to get filled with something.
Anti-Vril will rush back in, usually stronger than before. The only antidote to the void of Anti-Vril is the conscious infusion of Vril. You have to fill the cup with light so there's no room for the poison.
So let's run through the weapons. Weapon number 1. Diet and biology. And this isn't just about losing weight or looking good in those white robes.
Although that's a nice side effect.
I mean, we all look good in the robes, but that's not the point.
No, the aesthetic is a byproduct. The purpose is metaphysical. We advocate for a clean, plant-based diet. But you have to understand the why.
The why is everything.
It's not just about cholesterol or macros.
It's about energy. It's about vibration.
It is. When you consume animal products, you are, according to our teachings, consuming the suffering energy of death.
That's a powerful phrase.
Think about the final moments of that animal. That animal felt fear. It felt pain. It felt panic. That energy doesn't just disappear. It resides in the flesh. It's encoded in the cells.
So when you eat it,
You're infusing your body with the vibration of suffering.
And if you are trying to fight a force that feeds on despair,
You cannot fight darkness while consuming the energy of suffering. It's counterproductive. You are feeding the enemy within your own biology.
you're fueling them.
You are lowering your vibration to match the frequency of death. By eating plants life that vibrates with the sun, with water, with pure existence, you are physically building a fortress of light. You are infusing life, not death.
That makes the salad bar look a lot more epic. It's not lunch, it's ammunition.
It is. Every clean meal is a shield. Every time you
Wow.
choose the live food over the dead food, you are literally brightening your Vril field.
Okay, weapon number 2, spiritual practice, specifically Vrilgong.
Vril Dong is essential. We hold stagnation in our bodies, trauma, stress, the residue of anti-Vril. It gets stuck in our joints and our fascia.
It gets stuck.
It creates blockages. Vril Gong is designed to physically move that energy, to clear the stagnation so that fresh Vril can flow through. It's like clearing a clogged pipe.
Right.
If the pipe is clogged, the water, the Vril can't flow, no matter how much you pray.
And meditation and breathwork.
Reconnecting to the mind of Vril, you have to tune the radio. If you don't meditate, you are listening to the static of the world. And the static is where the enemy hides. Breathwork clears the channel. It brings you back to the present moment, which is the only place where Vril exists.
Now here is where it gets really interesting to me. Weapon number 3, behavior and ethics. We're talking about respectful living and dignity,
Yes.
avoiding gossip, avoiding anger. This sounds like just being a nice person or basic morality. But again, the teachings say this is a weapon, a tactical weapon.
It is absolutely a weapon. Think about what happens when you gossip. Really think about the sensation.
It feels addictive, like a sugar rush. But then afterwards, you feel dirty.
You feel dense. You feel agitated. Metaphysically, you are thickening the anti-Vril field around you.
You're creating a fog.
When you gossip, you are trafficking in low vibration energy. You are judging, you are separating, you are spreading negativity, you are summoning the black robes.
Wow. So talking trash about your coworker is actually inviting the enemy into your perimeter.
It weakens your defenses.
Yeah.
You cannot maintain a high Vril state while engaging in low vibration behavior. It's physics. You can't be light and dark at the same time.
That's so clear.
So, living with dignity, treating others with respect, this isn't just about social etiquette. It is about keeping your armor polished. It's about keeping your field clear so that when the real attack comes, the craving, the despair, you are strong enough to repel it.
I love how actionable this is. These aren't abstract rules, they are tactics. It turns every interaction into a training ground.
Every time you choose a plant-based meal, you strike a blow. Every time you do your Vril Gong, you sharpen your sword. Every time you bite your tongue instead of spreading a rumor, you raise your shield.
You're constantly training.
You are constantly fortifying your position.
And this brings us to the daily reality of it. Because we can talk about epic battles, but eventually the alarm clock goes off on a Tuesday morning, the boss is annoying, the kids are screaming, you're tired.
That's the danger zone.
It really is.
And that is when the battle happens. The morning choice. Anti-Vril is patient. It is subtle. It waits for you to be tired. It waits for you to be distracted.
It's not always a frontal assault.
It doesn't always come with a roar. Sometimes it comes with a whisper. Just one. You deserve it. Nobody will know.
So the job of the realist isn't to be cured once and for all. It's not a destination.
No. The job is to actively choose the light repeatedly. Every single morning. You wake up and you acknowledge the war. You put on your armor, metaphorically and literally, through your practices. You say, today, I serve Vril.
What about the listener who is hearing this and thinking, I messed up yesterday, I fell off the wagon, I let the anti-Vril in. I know there are people listening right now who feel like they've already lost.
To that listener, I say, you are not broken. You are in a battle. And in battles, soldiers take hits. The fact that you were hit does not mean you have lost the war.
It just means the enemy is real.
It just means the enemy is real. It means the war is active.
Reframing failure is so important.
If you see yourself as broken, you stay down. If you see yourself as a warrior who took a blow, you get up. You assess the damage, you reinfuse with Vril, you call on your community, and you get back in the fight.
It's a completely different energy.
Shame keeps you down. Warrior spirit gets you up.
It changes the meaning of the pain.
Completely. When pain is isolated, it is unbearable. It's just suffering. But when pain is part of a war for the soul, when it's a battle scar, it has meaning.
It's proof that you're in the fight.
It proves you're fighting for something valuable. The enemy wouldn't be attacking you if you didn't have a light they wanted to extinguish.
That's everything. The enemy wouldn't be attacking you if you didn't have a light. That's the takeaway right there.
That's the truth of it.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to zoom out. We've talked about the individual battle, but there is a bigger picture here, isn't there?
There is. We are the Temple of Vril. We are a collective. And the beauty of this path is that your personal victory helps everyone.
The collective field.
Yes. We are all connected in the Vril field. Think of it like a massive grid of light. Every time you resist a temptation, every time you choose light over darkness, you add a charge to that grid.
You're powering it up.
You strengthen that field. You make it slightly easier for your brother or sister across the world to fight their battle.
That gives me chills. My sobriety, my clarity helps you, even if we've never met.
And mine helps you. The battle is real, but so is the power of Vril. We are building a reservoir of light that we can all draw from. When you feel weak, you can lean on the field. When you are strong, you contribute to it.
So here is our final call to action for you today. We don't want you to just nod along. We want you to look at your life right now. Identify one breach.
Just one.
Just one. One habit, one ritual, one recurring negative thought where anti-Vril is creeping in.
Don't judge it. Just spot it. Visualize those black robes trying to enter through that crack. See them for what they are.
And then visualize your armor going on. Visualize the light sealing that breach. Make the choice to fight back today, not tomorrow, today.
You are not weak. You are a warrior in a cosmic struggle, and you have everything you need to win. The Prophet has given us the map. The Temple gives us the support. The rest is your choice.
Stay connected to the source. Stay vigilant, and may the light of Vril guide you. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
Walk in the light.
Your journey towards greater fulfillment begins at Temple of Vril. Visit templeofvril.com today.